Okay, so thanks so much, Zoe, for having me. My name is Jana Schuberth. I'm the host and creator of Live in Berlin, personal transformation and lifestyle design conference in Berlin, and a whole community that grows around that at the moment. And I also am a behavioral change expert in terms of coaching and consulting, private clients as well as businesses on really creating lasting change. So that's my main work, those two projects. And right now I'm residing here in North Shore, Oahu in Hawaii, because I move every month. I live in a different country or a different place every month for a month. So this is my stay for the month of March.
And like, since when do you do that? Every month a different place?
So I have always traveled a lot in my past life already, but I was born German, but I moved to the UK in 2003 and I lived there for 11 years. And then I had always loved the idea of traveling. The more travelers and nomads I met, the more jealous I became. And so 9 months ago, I decided to give up my home base in the UK, and I've been traveling as a nomad ever since.
Okay, very well. Yeah, the new word I learned is digital nomad. I didn't know that there was a word for my kind of lifestyle, and I'm super happy to have learned this word. Now I tell everyone that I'm a digital nomad, which is really cool. And how are you involved in the Alive in Berlin conference? And like, when did the idea came up, and what can people expect?
Sure. So with Alive in Berlin, it's very much born out of my own desire to have a European community of like-minded people. The idea behind it is really very simple. We want to bring together people that are like-minded, and so there's no demographic boundaries or geographic boundaries to that. We had 19 nations attend last year, but also it's about talking about all the things that make us feel alive. So I felt that a lot of conferences were very restricted in the topics in terms of creativity or marketing or tech skills or business. And I felt that just rocking one area of your life, i.e. work, for example, doesn't make for a super exciting and happy life. So we actually talk about 5 different areas that I think are most important when we talk about living fully. And they are sort of your health, your community and spirituality, your work life and business and money, and then also adventure and aspirations, as well as relationships and sex. So we bring speakers not only from the US to Europe, which was one aspect of bringing more of that to Europe, but also we want to create a stage for Europeans that maybe should have a stage that may not be so well known yet. So it really creates an opportunity just for people to connect and be in one space. And to be honest, like, the magic mostly happened just in those break times when people could communicate and build new friendships and get excited about that. But for me, the desire is not just to have something that's inspirational. It's really much more about transformation. My whole work is about helping people actually create lasting change and not just get hyped up after a weekend and then go home and then deflate into what they used to know because their peer group just is the same. And so we really worked very much from a psychological basis of, breaking certain boundaries and helping people see the world completely differently after that weekend. And so we had lots of people who quit jobs, sold businesses, started new ventures, left relationships, started new relationships, went traveling around the world, got tattoos done. So, it was very, very impactful for people. And the motto for last year was Live Fully, Die Empty, based on the keynote of Greg Hartle, who was our anchor keynote on the first day. And so I think people really took that away into their lives and really wanted to do that and live fully and, really ask themselves, what would I want to do if I only had 9 months left to live? And it really made changes according to that. And this year we're talking about really bridging the gap between knowing your truth and living your truth. Because what I see a lot in the coaching practice is that people have a lot of clarity actually when they're being honest with themselves around what they need to change in their lives, whether it's leaving an old relationship behind or a workplace, for example, but they don't quite have the courage or the plan as to how to do that and to live according to that truth.
For example, today I was talking with my friend who just got a baby, and I told her about the interview we have today, and she said, like, could this be something for me? Because she was working in law before and now she has a baby and she feels like she needs to change, like the whole life doesn't make so much sense anymore, the life she had before. So she said, like, maybe could I go there? If you're just a normal person who maybe had a boring job before, but is open for change, is it for everyone, or do you have to already have like an exciting life to go there?
No, I think your friend is the exact person that we'd want to meet there, because I think it's an illusion sometimes from the outside that other people have their shit together and we don't, or we're just at crossroads and you know, in a phase of transformation. I think we're always at crossroads, we're always transforming, and nobody has their shit together. You look at people that write New York Times bestselling books, or you know, produce amazing and well applauded work, but they still have their own issues. And so it's interesting you should mention with you know, with her having a child, because we do actually have a lot of people that are in that time where they have, you know, somewhat you know, stable relationships and small children. So we're providing childcare this year, so that they can bring them. But really the idea is for them to take a weekend, you know, talking about the We Treat concept that we briefly spoke before we hit the record button. It's an opportunity to press pause for yourself and make that time to reflect and think, well, what do I really want, you know, and what do I really like about my life? What might I want more of? What might I want less of? And I think the interaction with the others, the number one feedback we got was that everybody was just so open and warm, right? Everybody made you feel really alive because there's no judgment, because everybody there kind of ticks the same way. So if you said you're a yoga teacher, there wouldn't be anyone going like, oh yeah, and you make money with that? People would be like, wow, that's amazing. You know, what do you love about it? Or somebody does something completely quirky. Somebody is in corporate law, and they'd be like, not judged for having chosen that career. And I think that allowed people to just really relax, you know, for the first time, and just be open and be honest and have those kinds of conversations. So a lot of really strong friendships have started in Berlin last year, for sure.
Yeah, and I think this is a really cool thing, to develop a platform where people actually meet. I mean, the conference is one thing, what you learn there and what you develop there. But exactly. I always believe it's not about the things you put in your mind. It's about the you know, the people you meet and about the connections you make, and they can stay for life, for sure. Lifetime.
We're doing it at a really lovely venue called the Kalkscheune in the central heart of Berlin. Beautiful setting. We've got the whole building to ourselves, 3 floors and several rooms. It's a gorgeous venue, and it will happen again on the same weekend. We're doing it on a Friday and a Saturday, which is the 29th and the 30th of May. The reason for that is that we don't just attract Berliners. So people really have to plan long-term trips, so they tend to arrive on the Wednesday or the Thursday before. We have like a little get-together on the Thursday night, and then we'll have time on the Sunday for people to brunch together. We have some surprises planned as well for the Sunday afternoon. And so it really becomes also about discovering Berlin as a city, because we felt like it's definitely one of those places that people want to visit. And if I may add, if you haven't been to Berlin, you should definitely come this year, because next year it will not happen in Berlin, the live conference, that is.
You can tell me like one tip for the audience. How can I feel more alive tomorrow? Is there a trick? Like, what can I do in my everyday life to feel more alive? Or is there something that you do every day, for example? Or
Well, you see, that's an interesting question, because the answer will obviously vary for everyone individually. I think the first step to feeling more alive is becoming aware, right? Because there are things we do every day that make us feel alive. I actually keep posting things on Facebook with the hashtag, you know, things that make me feel alive, because it can be something as exhilarating as a skydive for me, or scuba diving, or kite surfing, which are more extreme versions of like being in the present moment. But it can be really, really simple things like riding my bike to my, you know, to my co-working space, or going for a walk along the beach, or having a really nice conversation with someone, or having a coffee or a moment to myself. Hanging out in the hammock behind me, you know, like it can be very, very simple things. But I think the most important thing is to become aware of, you know, of what makes us feel alive in the first place, but also taking that seriously. And what I've discovered for me, the sweet spot of aliveness is really doing something that makes us feel almost forced to be in the present moment, and really, you know, really taking and soaking up that. Taking in that moment and soaking it up. And it's almost like, for me, it's got to have a little bit of an edge of risk or something uncertain. I think if everything is too certain around us, then it doesn't tend to make us feel all that alive, just comfortable or loved or, you know, secure. So for me, aliveness comes with a bit of risky, a bit of newness, and definitely being in the present moment.